What's up, YouTube? It's Joe Catchpolia sitting on the couch making some money investing in fractional real estate online. Today, I'm going to give you a little update on this property. I don't know if to call it a flip because it's not like we bought this property, renovated it, and sold it. But it is a very short-term profit I'm hoping to make on this one. This is an investment I made in a multifamily property on Lofty. Um, I have a video, probably, I don't know, a little over a week ago, where I walked through what I thought the numbers were going to be. I've been buying these tokens for a month or two. I don't have a whole bunch of them just yet, and maybe I won't on this one because I think I'm a little bit late to it. But so just to, I will put a link in the description to the original video, but just to give you a little bit of background. This is a property that has been on the Lofty platform for quite a while. It wasn't performing very well. It's got a couple of vacancies. And so when I decided to start investing in it, it was not because I think it's a great, yield, because, their projected yield and actual rent, it's not paying out anything. Part of that is that it has the vacant units, but looking at the prices of the tokens at the time, and let's see, my average cost basis, so my average price per token is 23.93. It seemed very cheap, because when you multiply that price per token, it gave us, it gives you, well, let's look at that real quick, right? Uh, 23.93 times 87.80, a price for the property of 210,000. Now, there's a lot of caveats that go into that. I paid some fees, and that should be added to that basis, but it does, Lofty doesn't do that here, so this doesn't include the fees I paid when I bought it. Um, but so in that other video, I did some rough calculations. What I thought, okay, we were going to list it for 380. I think I was talking about 15% discount, maybe. I went through a couple of different variations of what I thought the discount might be, and what my proceeds would be based on that, right? And so I think, and this is for this would be a $460 profit if you look at these numbers here, but I've only invested 1,460 total to date. So this is one. It's much more of an experiment than anything else. I want to see, can I get into these properties when they are at a point where the tokens are really cheap, but the property is saleable. And I bought into this one as the vote to sell it was happening. It got prepped for sale, listed, and then the reason I'm doing this update today is we got an email from the listing agent saying, "Hey, we got an offer. Um, $375,000 with a seller credit." There's a lot of details. There's actually some other problem at the property they give us some details on. They broke down some numbers for us of, if we accepted that offer as is with the credit and commissions and closing costs, and what the net for that would be. And it ends up being a decent amount above, even when I was using this 10% discount calculation. Part of it is, well, let's see, where is that? I think if you do the 3%, because it gives you that credit there, 9, yeah, that gets us a lot closer, right? Net proceeds. So really, because they're a very small discount, and plus a seller credit is what they're asking for. We haven't accepted this yet. They gave us, a breakdown of what we'd get per token if we do, but then also, gave us some options as far as countering, trying to get a little bit higher price, in the what we'd get per token if we did that. I'm very much hoping that the other owners realize that we might not get another offer like this anytime soon, and so we should probably jump on the one that we have. And so that was my vote. I think we should just take it, but I think if not, I think we end up somewhere in between those two numbers. I can't imagine we're actually getting that. And so sorry about that. I just had a little issue with my recorder again. So all I was saying is I want to take the numbers that they gave me and plug it into the number that I had put together. And so, if I use a distribution per token of 37.99, and so I'm just going to go straight into here, see what we get there. Okay, it gives us a disturbing number, but my return on investment would be 46% in that instance. Now, again, making $666, not a ton of money, but it's a small investment in a very short period of time. I mean, I think at most the earliest tokens I bought in this, I don't even think they're 3 months ago. And if we do accept a contract, obviously it'll be a couple more, another month to actually close. But let's say 6 or 7 months to make it 46% return on investment. So that's not, if I'm able to keep turning over money like this on here, that would be unbelievable. Um, that's if we accept the offer as is and we don't end up. One of the things that can happen too, though, is we might agree to some like additional repairs, after the inspection. I mean, there's always ways that this money could go down. But I mean, if we negotiate up a little bit and get to that 39.72 number, I mean, even it gets even better. And so I think I just wanted to give you that update, show you what the math looks like, and just like really reiterate that I think that's one of maybe the most interesting opportunities on Lofty. If you're not on there yet, I do have, and I don't mean this particular property. I mean, obviously, a lot of things could still go wrong. You want to do your due diligence. Like, for example, there's a bunch of tokens sitting out here for $31 per token. After all fees, I mean, I think you're going to end up, it's only going to be a couple of bucks. And so there's an opportunity to buy those and sell and still be under that. Let's see, what was that other one? It was 37 before, I think. Let's look. Yeah, 37.99. So almost 38, right? So if you bought at this 31 number, assuming the sale goes through the way it's expected to, there's money to be made there. I don't know that it's enough though that I'm really excited to try to jump in and buy more of these tokens, right? I mean, it's not. So let's see. Let's see what the cost per token would be. And again, I don't have any. Oh wait, I want to do the limit order though. So let's see. Limit order. Yep. Okay. I think there's over 100, but let's say I bought 100 of those. Using a credit card because I don't have any money on here at the moment. This is one of the things I have to just start doing is having money on here more often. Because I'm just never. I need to just leave. As soon as I get cash on the platform, I'm always buying something with it, and so then whenever these other opportunities come up, I don't have the cash on there, and so then I'm using the card. It doesn't actually end up costing that much. It's a 3% fee, but I get 1.5% cash back with that particular card. So pay an extra 1.5% for that, basically. So I'm getting about $50 back from this. It's not the end of the world to do that, but it is. It would be good if it just takes a long time if you do it with the other way. But so let's see. So yeah, if I did it this way, I'm paying basically $33.68 per token. That does leave you a pretty good spread versus the $37.99. But again, I mean, a lot can go wrong between now and the time of that sale, right? Like, and the price could be reduced, and so I don't want to have a big number of tokens that I bought that are only have $4 spread. Right, is that what 33.68 and 37? Yeah, about a little over a $4 spread. Times there's how many tokens outstanding? Yeah, 87. So 9. Say $36,000 difference, right? And so that seems like a lot of money. But when we're talking about, it's about 10%. So, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll pick some more of these up. I'll have to think about it. I've just gotten, I have such a different basis, right, compared to that 31 where I'm at 23.93. It's just hard to justify, or it's just hard to accept that maybe I'd have to pay so much more for some right now. That's why I said, this is one that I think I'm pretty early on. There are several others that I'm getting or I was pretty late on. I mean, so I didn't have a lot of time to accumulate tokens before we went ahead and pushed for a sale. They were already thinking about that. I think when I bought my first token, it had already been put up for a vote once. And maybe they already did vote for it, but didn't do the list price yet, I think. Um, but in any case, it didn't, I didn't have enough time because one of the things, like I talked about in a few other videos, the discounted tokens, they just come up every once in a while, right? Like it's not as if people are constantly selling them. Though they'll be, so it's not like you can just go in and buy a ton of them. But like look over time, you can see, I think probably I wasn't even this buyer. I was picking up for 24 or less. Um, trying to really push that basis down. And so one of the things that I think that I need to do better in the future is, provided this sale goes through the way it looks like it's going to, I need to be a little bit more aggressive price wise, right? I think that there are, if I really believe that there's this big spread, I should have bought every $25 token that popped up. Instead, I was just sitting, waiting a lot of times on those and just buying the ones that were just a little cheaper and a little cheaper. And I'm doing that on a couple of others now. I think it probably makes some sense because I am still just experimenting on this platform. I'm trying not to just dump a ton of money on here until I've actually really proven out the model of how I can make money. This is one of the ways I think there just are a lot of these properties um, that are underperforming, and because of that, their token prices. Why is it giving me this view as the default? That's interesting. See if we can switch it to the other one that's gone now. Yeah, there we go. Um, there's a whole bunch of these just really cheap tokens that are discounted from an original price of $50, and so uh, I think as I get more and more comfortable with what how the sales process goes with these and what I can expect as far as closing costs in some of these other markets and how accurate these estimates are. So I don't know if you saw the video of the other one that I did. They gave us these estimates when we made a decision to buy or to sell, got under contract, and then it was like another $4 cheaper that it ended up closing at because there were a bunch of expenses that weren't accounted for in this estimate. So how accurate this is yet to be seen, which is part of the reason why, I don't want to buy those tokens at at the $31 price, or why I'm not super excited about doing it, right? Because if we had that same instance again and then all of a sudden these are $33.99, and then I paid, I mean there'd still be a tiny bit of profit. But again, I mean, you just never know. And so while these what I think are really large opportunities as far as the disconnect between pricing and the token prices exist, I don't really see that. I'm not here to like try to make that really thin value, right? Like this is the level of discount that I want relative to what I think it's going to sell for. And so I guess one of the things, where I've been talking a lot about, doing your due diligence, really trying to understand what the asset price, what the price of the property itself is. Once it's under contract or what, then everybody's going to be able to do the math real quick and know what it should sell for. And really, even once we got it listed, you saw the token prices go up right away because people could start doing their own math and see, oh, okay, I expect to make X dollars. And I think that's probably, I think this person who has those ones listed at 31, maybe they did some math and they thought that there was going to be a bigger discount because these have been up for a few days, maybe even longer. And so they probably, already they probably were expecting it to sell for less than the asking price. These have definitely they were up after the property was listed for sale, and so they could do a little bit of math there and figure out, you know. And I think selling for 31 and it's certain might look better than waiting another month or two or three and having all the uncertainty of it, right? So maybe there's an arbitrage opportunity, but like I said, I don't think that's the big move to be made here. I think for me, I'd rather get the deeper discount when there is more uncertainty because I feel certain about the pricing. And then, you know, once that price creeps up closer to what I expect the value to be, then I stop being as much of a buyer. So, it's possible I've bought all the tokens that I'm going to for this one. But there are several others that I'm still involved in, and I think as the platform grows, I think there'll be more and more opportunities. One of the things I was worried about initially, and so if you've watched some other videos, you might have heard me say this, is that most of these ones that are really struggling were like the initial ones put on the platform. And I kind of thought that, well, they've fixed some of those problems. We're not going to really have these going forward. But I think that it is. I'm pretty confident that they will have some more troubled properties. Partially because you're just always going to, real estate investing. It is just an uncertain. It's an uncertain endeavor. You always have things go wrong, and to have the opportunity for us to come in and buy them after something went wrong, once things have sort of been righted, but before the sort of market for the investors on here have really figured out that things are going right, is why I'm spending, a lot of time trying to learn this platform and figure out, what the opportunity is. Again, as I always say, just because I pick certain properties out, and you might see me. I've scrolled through here several times, and you probably can see, the ones I'm accumulating tokens in. Yeah, there's some that I think are in a very similar spot, although not listed for sale yet, not having any sort of, agents weigh in on the pricing and whatnot. But I think that having those, um, seeing that there's just, oh yeah. So all I'm saying is, just because you see me buying some of those, and because obviously I'm excited about the opportunity, I almost slipped into telling you about, oh, these are deals again too, right? But you do want to just do your own due diligence, look, understand everything you can, because you can probably tell from the rambling nature of these videos that, it's 1 a.m. when I'm doing this. I'm doing this a lot at night. So it might not have the clearest head, certainly could be missing things. So don't just take my word for it. Look into each one yourself. Um, but yeah, I think there's definitely some opportunity here, and that should be explored further. So that is all I'm going to say today. I would appreciate it if you would like and subscribe if you haven't already. But in any case, until next time, I will keep making mistakes so that you don't have to.